Empire and their Department of Treasury. The party is instructed to travel to the Radiant Okay, everybody, I just wanted to thank you all for going through some combat simulations, learning your character sheets, and learning how to play the game. I just wanted to make you aware that some of our sessions are going to be posted to YouTube, so there may be people watching the public eye. Did you have any thoughts on that?
Oh, I guess it's fine as long as we agree on some boundaries and respect each other's privacy, yeah? I mean, it's not like anyone needs to see me in my underwear or anything like that, right? Plus, it could maybe help spread awareness about the work we do and maybe inspire some potential new Taimanan recruits? What do you think about that? I'm open to discussing any concerns or suggestions you might have, Master.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to post anything like that, as it will definitely break the age restrictions, and I'm sure people who want to can use their imaginations.
Igawa Asagi smirks lightly, her eyes sparkling with amusement. Well, it's not as if age is an obstacle when it comes to fantasies, my dear, she teases. Asagi winks playfully, her confident grin never fading as she leans back in her seat, arms crossed over her voluptuous chest.
Okay, easy down there. Let's hear from Homelander next.
Oh, well, that sounds like a splendid idea, sir, Homelander said, stretching his arms wide in approval. The world needs to know more about our heroic deeds. Now, shall we get started? He asked.
Brief and to the point. I appreciate that, Homelander. Let's hear from Harry Potter next.
Well, Dungeon Master, I suppose I have no issue with you recording our sessions for others to view. I think it could be a fun way to share our adventures with others. It might be nice for friends or fans of D&D to watch as well. Just please keep in mind that some of us might not want our real names or faces exposed online.
I appreciate your concern, Harry, but I do have to let you know that I am in fact using graphics to display your characters, and your characters' names are displayed at the top of the screen as well.
Oh, well, I guess that's alright then. Just make sure no one can recognize our voices or personal details in any way, okay?
I think that ship has sailed, but let's go ahead and move on. And as the Dungeon Master, I've chosen our first adventure. It is called Salted Legacy. The party is part of a trade expedition representing the powerful human empire and their Department of Treasury. The party is instructed to travel to the Radiant Citadel and establish trade with the Din Sin night market. The market is an ever-changing maze of hundreds of temporary stalls, tents, and vendor carts. The shop's around 3 golden tents in a sunken plaza. The vendors are a tight-knit community with wares ranging from common goods to rare items. You and your party have arrived here and are free to explore.
Homelander scans the area with a dour look. I will ensure the transaction goes smoothly. Keep a keen eye out for any deceitful goblins or elf imposters. We must protect the interests of the Empire and establish a strong alliance. You two follow me closely and stay alert for any suspicious activity, Homelander instructs, stepping forward confidently.
Igawa Asagi listens to Art and nods. Her eyes glimmer with curiosity as she looks from Art to the other party members. All right, we should start exploring. Let's see what we can find in this night market that could be of interest to us and the Empire. Keep your eyes open for anything suspicious or valuable, Asagi suggests, her voice firm and assertive.
Alright everyone, Harry says, looking around the group. It seems we're off to the Radiant Citadel for our first mission. Let's make sure we make a good impression and establish a solid connection with the night market. Igawa, keep an eye out for any suspicious activities or rare items you think could be useful. Kaitlyn, perhaps you could use your druidic knowledge to find any unique plants or herbs we might need. Homelander, if there's any sign that the market is under threat or something's off, let us know immediately.
As the sun dips below the horizon, the din-seen night market twinkles to life, gradually igniting in a dazzling display. The smells of food carts filled with pot stickers, coconut desserts, spiced meats, sticky buns, ramen, and more drift amid the bright bouquets of glowing flowers and magical lights in the shapes of vendors' wares and whimsical mascots. Crowds of shoppers wander the stalls, drawn by the colors, smells, and the music.
All right, guys, the smell of food is so yummy. We should probably eat some noodles before we start exploring.
The players quickly learn of the nearby Tianmo noodle stall.
Homelander's face slightly contorts into disgust when he catches the scent of food as it reminds him that he hasn't eaten in days. Food. I'll pass, he says begrudgingly, not bothering to hide his distaste for eating in front of others. We should take care of business first, then perhaps I'll eat. He paces back and forth, hands clenched into fists, glancing around the marketplace with his icy blue eyes.
Asagi, with a hint of embarrassment, speaks up. I agree that food would be a good idea before we venture further. However, I would need to use my acrobatics skill to climb up and steal some noodles for us, since, stealing is more efficient and adventurous. She winks playfully at the group, her teal eyes sparkling with mischief.
Harry chuckles at Igawa's suggestion, but shakes his head. While I appreciate the humor, Igawa, let's not start our mission off on the wrong foot, he says. Kaitlyn's right, though. We should try some of the local delicacies. It'll be good for us to blend in and get a feel for the place. Harry then turns to Homelander. How do you feel about this, sir? Are you not hungry?
Well, if I don't eat, I'm going to turn into dust. Bah. Maybe we can get you a sticky bun for later if you don't want to eat now. Kaitlyn says to Homelander.
I do not require food or sustenance of any kind, Homelander replies, his voice a mix of amusement and curiosity. I will keep watch over our group while you indulge in these local treats. He scans the area, looking for any potential threats.
That is a joke, Harry, Asagi smirks, flashing a grin at Kaitlyn that shows her admiration for her humor. We mustn't let the party die of starvation after all, she adds in a playful tone.
The party approaches the stall and takes some seats on the stools presented there, and a kindly older woman presents them with 2 delicious steaming servings of ramen noodles that Harry and Kaitlyn happily eat.
As she watches the others partake in the local delicacy, she takes a moment to sit back and observe them, a faint blush creeping onto her face. The sight of Kaitlyn slurping up ramen brings a strange feeling. You two enjoy, Asagi says, sipping some water to wet her throat.
A bizarrely descriptive way to watch somebody eat. As Kaitlyn and Harry enjoy her food, Homelander and Igawa have noticed that there seems to be some sort of hubbub going on in the streets. Shouting rises over the sounds of haggling shoppers and the sizzle of cooking street food. A shrill voice cries out, "Give it back, you little thief!" "No, you're a thief," replies the youngster with a panicked squeak. An instant later, a frantic kobold bursts from the crowd, clutching a sizable bunch of green onions. A flustered gnome woman chases him. As the kobold runs through the crowd, it runs crashing into Homelander and falls down. A moment later, the gnome catches up and attempts to yank the green onions from the kobold's hands while railing at him.
Homelander turns his head slightly as he hears the commotion, but it doesn't catch his attention until he feels something fall on top of him. Looking down, he sees a bag of green onions on his chest. Standing up, he glares at the kobold before speaking, his deep, booming voice echoing through the marketplace. "What did you think you were doing, running through here like that?" Homelander stands over the frightened kobold. "Let me explain something to you," he continues, his hand reaching down to grip the kobold's tiny chest. "If you ever mess with something that's not yours again, I won't be so merciful next time." He uses his heat vision to melt the pile of onions, into a molten mess.
By the roots of the ancient oak, I exclaimed as I stand up and crash my empty noodle bowl to the ground. What is going on?
Harry quickly stood up from his seat, grabbing his wand from his pocket. Easy, Homelander. I'm sure he didn't mean any harm, he said softly, placing a calming hand on Homelander's arm. Besides, we're not here to start trouble. Turning to the kobold, he knelt down next to it, trying to calm him down. Now, why were you running so fast? He asked, using his most soothing voice. The kobold was trembling, its tiny fists clenched tightly together. It looked up at Harry with wide, terrified eyes filled with fear and panic.
She's after me, it managed to choke out in between gasps of breath.
Who's after you, little one? Harry asked, keeping his tone non-threatening yet firm.
The kobold seemed to relax, just slightly. The gnome. She thinks I stole something from her shop.
Asagi watches the scene unfold, her gaze flicking between the gnome, the kobold, and Homelander. Asagi then turns her attention to Homelander, her eyes flicking over his imposing figure and the way he's gripping the kobold. Harry's intervention brings a small measure of relief to Asagi. Asagi's eyes shift back to Homelander, her expression showing her disapproval of his actions. We are here to protect, not strike fear into the hearts of the common folk, she adds, her voice laced with a hint of rebuke. Her brows knit together in concern, Asagi decides to intervene before things escalate further. Stepping forward, she raises a hand to get their attention, and then turns to the gnome, her voice soft and calm. Excuse me, madam. May I suggest a more civilized approach to resolving this issue? The kobold seems quite frightened, and it is possible they are innocent. Asagi suggests, keeping her gaze on the gnome and trying to diffuse the tense situation. Asagi looks at the party. Perhaps Kaitlyn can roll an insight check to see if the kobold's words are honest.
Okay, Asagi, I will roll for an insight check. Okay. Roll. What is that?
That's a failure.
Oh, no!
So, basically, in the case of a failure, you roll your insight, and it was very low. You rolled a 3 plus your 3 bonus, which gives you a 6, which in this case would be a failure. So you can't determine if the little kobold is being honest about that he didn't steal the onions.
Well, Asagi, I can't determine whether or not he's telling the truth.
Well, it doesn't matter what he says anyways. He stole that garlic from me. Look at my stall. It's the same garlic. She points over at the Tianmen noodle stall that you guys were just eating at.
How did we not see it?
Because he stole it! She exclaims. Unfortunately, at this point, we could not continue our session because we were having some trouble with the AI. Homelander in particular was kind of just going off the rails and wanting to do his own thing. He even tried to invent a arch villain for himself named the Goldenator. So we're gonna fix all that, and we'll be continuing on with the Salted Legacy in our next session. Thanks for watching.